and I think that takes us back to the central crux of affirmative action, and that is the fact that the playing field has never been equal for Black people and never been equal, and because of that, affirmative action is to identify the most qualified and give them an opportunity to compete. The most qualified, I always like to use that because sometimes, there's this disjointed view that, we're trying to promote mediocrity. We're not. We talk about Black excellence here at the PuLSE Institute a lot. And so the playing field is not equal, and that, in order to do so, industry should not only talk about diversity as a mission statement, but also be involved, in the structure of ensuring that, those hurdles that tend to hold, Black contractors, Black suppliers, from accessing those opportunities. And these are things that come up. And I think when we think about the affirmative action ruling, Jerry, is it has this overarching, it has this overarching impact to be, if you will, where people are saying, well, what's going to happen to Black suppliers at DTE, at General Motors, at Ford Motor Company? What's going to happen to Black contractors at DTE, at General Motors, at at all these major corporations? What's going to happen? Are the policies going to shift? Are they going to change? And how does the CEO, the chairman of DTE, respond to those questions?
I guess, first of all, it's had no impact. As a matter of fact, we continue to be a very large developer of minority suppliers. I mean, if you look at our minority spend, it's been on an increase for 15 years, and we continue to increase it each and every year. And I'll tell you this, Bankley, you have to set those goals as a corporation. Affirmative action was a way for the government to set goals. Mm-hmm. In addition to that, corporations have to set their own goals and their own aspirations on creating diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I just give you a very live example, recent example. Just several evenings ago, I sat down with a Black corporate leader, and we talked about building, the ability to install underground cable as we rebuild the electric grid in the city of Detroit and in the state of Michigan. And it's something that he's very interested in doing, and I'm very interested in doing. So we've already set up a discussion to develop a new, Black-led company. And I said one provision, which is, I don't mind helping with that, but I want to make sure we give young people from Detroit and disadvantaged communities access to a company like that. That's the purpose of building Black leadership in a corporate world, so that we can create access and have an interest in creating access for great jobs, great paying jobs for many decades to come. So that's just one example, but we've had tremendous success, and I don't want to go through all the awards that we've received for creating and developing minority suppliers in the state of Michigan, but we're one of the leaders, not only in the state of Michigan, but probably the country, in terms of developing minority suppliers. And we do all kinds of things, like we host events at large churches where we bring small suppliers that typically don't have access to DTE and try to take out the middlemen, if you will, the large tier 1 suppliers. We go directly right to the small suppliers and see if we can start developing them, because eventually they could be big suppliers of DTE. So lots of programs, lots of forums to do this, but it all starts at the top. You have to have an interest and a desire to create diversity and inclusion. So if it's not in your heart, it doesn't happen. You can go through the motions, but you have to believe it, and it's got to be in your heart.